All right, we are returning. You know, this thing about government and its inexplicable failure to appropriately represent its own constituencies is just about the height of arrogance. And I can't help but feel frustrated that we were robbed of an opportunity to have a fair election. This guy was a foregone conclusion, and now it's political payback. And it's going to come at our cost and expense, because I'll bet you money that the MOU that was newly uncovered by Doreen and other folks will not even be discussed today. And that's the part that really gripes the heck out of me. That a guy who's not knowledgeable is going to go there and throw out what we all know, and I mean, even you guys know as much as he knows because you listen to this program. And I find that eternally aggravating. So personally, I think that's inexcusable. The people who were really on boots on the ground here, the captains, should have been invited to nominate someone to go there. That would have been a smarter move. Politically, as well as ethically, morally, professionally, and representationally. And I'm disgusted with the way politics operates. I really am. I'm just sick and tired of this gamesmanship. And here, when we see the whole thing ready to come apart like a house of cards on a strong, windy day, we get more of the same. It's just shameful. Go ahead, caller.
Morning, Mike. It's Mike. And yeah, I totally agree with you and Bob. I did want to point out that we are happy that Congressman Smith is having the hearings today, and that Secretary of the Interior Jewell will be testifying there. I get it,
and I'm not discounting that. What I'm saying is, well, don't we want the most effective witness on the stand? Do we want somebody who is unqualified and unfamiliar with the ins and outs and the true nature of this thing to testify?
Exactly.
Or do we want somebody who really understands and gets it?
And when it came to Butler County.
And by the way, I've heard Eddie Justice speak. I'm not all that enamored. He's a nice guy, but he's no Daniel Webster. I know a lot of people that could have verbalized and articulated the issue in a better way.
And when it came to Butler County, which is, and I was originally told by Congressman Smith's assistant that Eddie Justice was instrumental in Butler County. Now, that kind of shocked me because I was one of the captains, and I remember we were trying hard to get Butler County covered. And we had a volunteer, Abby, from Kansas City, who drove there. And then several of us called around to find her some help in the county. The people that lived there, and the CMO 10 folks volunteered, Doug Enyart, some Constitution Party people, a couple of PRC people.
Yeah. But where was Justice?
Actually, I was thinking about it. We didn't even have any Republican Party members there. We had Constitution Party, CMO 10, PRC, and a volunteer from Kansas City who drove 8 hours. But, hey, nothing against Eddie Justice, but he wasn't involved. We would have loved to have his help in the fight. Right.
I mean, but where was he when we needed him?
I don't know.
And now suddenly he's, going over there to testify on our behalf, like he's all that in a bag of chips.
Yep. The MOU, by the way, Dave Davis gave that at our PRC meeting to Ross Branson. He confirmed that Smith does have it in D.C.
Okay.
Said he would be bringing it up today. I hope that's true.
Well, my question is, what other homework has he done on it? Because I know people here that could easily, more accurately and probably more appropriately refer and discuss that issue.
I can name 12 at least right now.
So, here's the problem. This just smells of dead fish. And it's, I smelled it coming before the election. Now I know it's here.
This is exactly the reason why many of us supported Bob Parker in the primary.
Well, I'm so frustrated right at the moment. And, to get non-answers yesterday from his representative or assistant or whatever their official title is just and then to find out that what I posted on his Facebook page this morning has already been pulled down.
Well, congratulations for being able to post. I was banned from posting a couple of months ago.
Well, I'm sure I'll be banned as of this morning. Mm-hmm. But my point is this. If an elected representative is not willing to stand up and answer his constituents in a public forum, then we got a problem.
Yes.
And I can tell you how I know that. Because there's 434 others that don't. And that's how we've ended up here. And then there's 100 in the Senate who don't. And that's how we ended up here in this situation with a nation so out of control, so run amok, that we're about to come apart like a cheap suit in the rain. So I tell you what, I normally try to keep the show to 2 half-hour segments. I'm so angry about this that I'm gonna complete the rest of this program on this, because I demand that there be answers. I want people to tell me. I want Jason Smith's office to explain publicly, not privately. I don't want a phone call. I want a public explanation for how and why justice was chosen, who paid for it, where did this come from, what made him qualified. I want an answer on the qualification of it.
I'd like to see that too.
I mean, give me the qualifications for Eddie Justice to testify on the Blueways. Other than the fact that he skim-read all that we've given him.
I spoke to Eddie about a week before the Blueway was pulled, and he said he was against the Blueway. He was also at the time kind of giving credit to Jason for being the first to jump on it, but that was incorrect as far as congressional work. Billy Long was on it a week before Jason was. Now, a lot of this is kind of silly, this taking credit, but...
Right. You know what? I'll tell you what, Mike, let me just, for the record, let me quantify something. And I'm not going to do a Bill O'Reilly and claim credit for everything under the sun, because I talked about it on my show. But I am going to say this. I was the one who did the initial show on the Blueways and made a round of phone calls and said, what? Why isn't anybody on this? Doesn't anybody know about this? Is this brand new news? And I drove the public activity, maybe not the captains to take the action, but the public activity to drive this community and my listenership and all of those folks in the area. And you know what? I don't want credit for it. That's my job.
And
that's my job. You know,
fighting the Blue Way is Jason Smith's job.
When you show up for work and you load the truck properly and you can slam the door shut and say, "Okay, I did a good job there," or you're out there and you're moving earth, and at the end of the day, it's perfectly flat and just the way you want it, you're not entitled to special accolades for that. You just did what you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
And so this nonsense about I get to take credit for this, I get to be able to say to put a notch in my revolver grip so that I can show how effective I am as a congressman is crap.
Yes, it is.
And I'm insulted by it. I'm insulted by it because I know the people who really took the initiative, put forth the effort, and dug their heels in and made this thing go away. And I don't like people who will take credit for things that they're not entitled to. And I see that on O'Reilly all the time, and it just galls me. My teeth crackle when I hear that. Mm-hmm. And to hear it now from a politician is even worse, because at least O'Reilly's got a platform where 3 or 4 million people a day log on. You know, but a politician doesn't even have that. I mean, it's the other way around. We're not, you know, he works for us. I don't know. This whole thing, I'm so sick of politics. I'm so sick of the cutthroat betrayal of it, the nonsense, the lies, the misrepresentations, the aggrandizement, the ego, the power assumption, the grab, the annexing. It makes me ill.
You know, Jeff Pogue, our representative in this area, made a comment at our meeting recently that he had come to hear what his employers had to say.
I heard him say that. Yes. I heard him say that. I heard him say it a number of times. Mm-hmm.
And he credited Mike Deathrow, a former representative in our area, with telling him that.
I believe he was sincere, and I'll take him at his word. But you see, here's the point. My job is not to pander to these people or genuflect when they come into my site. My job is not to pay them deference. My job is to be their watchdog. And when I'm not even notified about a meeting in my own living room, and when I'm not invited to submit a written, I'm a fairly good writer. I'm no Hemingway. Don't get me wrong, but when I'm not even invited to submit a written witness testimony, I find that inexcusable. Because guess what? Irrespective of who I am and whether or not he likes me, if I accomplish the job or make his job easier to accomplish by giving him ammunition that he can fire on the front line, then he should be dying to get my assistance.
Yeah.
And that tells me that he's not really interested in fighting the Blue Way. That tells me that what he's really interested in is, what's in this for me? And
right.
That's what disgusts me.
Yeah. By the way, I first heard about the testimony today from some folks with Secure Arkansas who heard about it from their congressman.
So why is it that we're the last to know by our own representative? By the way, I'm not even on his email list. Where I said that to Branson. I said, why don't I get an email from you? I mean, I talk about politics every day. You'd think that you guys would want me updated on what you're up to. Oh, yeah. What do you mean? You got my business card. I've given it to you 8 times. I'm still not on the list. Why? You see, here's the problem. They don't like me, and I get it. I don't like them. But that's the perfect scenario for us to operate under. If he was truly interested in the public good, he'd say, that guy doesn't like me, but he does serve a purpose in the community. And so it's my job to keep him updated, even if he doesn't like me. That's what a true representative of the people would do. I don't even care. You know what? If you are not a big enough man to take your personal likes and dislikes and your biases out of the equation when you are representing 700,000 people, then you don't deserve the job. That's how I feel about it. I am insistent that our listenership do this today. Get on the phone, call him, demand answers from his office, and then ask how many other people have called. I'd like his phone system to be on meltdown today. Because here's the deal. We have an obligation to be eternally vigilant. And this is the first step. This is the first thing where there's been a conflict. So let's find out right now, and let's put him on notice right now that we're not going to tolerate it. Because, like they say, like the criminals say to you, hey, listen, the first burglary is the toughest one, but after that, they're all easy. The first murder, that's the hard one, but after that, they all get easy. If he gets away with this, there's no telling how far he'll take this.
No.
Thanks for your call.
Thank you.
Nope. Okay, I guess that caller couldn't wait. Okay, so look, here's the long and the short of it, people. 202-224-3121. Jump onto Facebook and tell me what your responses are. I want to hear answers today from our listenership. There's very, very rare time when I say, I demand that you all as listeners do something. Today, I'm demanding it. I want responses. I want feedback. I'll tell you what. I come out here and I do this show every day at my own cost and expense, on my own dime. I put my time, my effort, my energy, my blood, my sweat, my tears into this. I want you to show me that I'm not wasting my time. AVN listeners, prove it to me. Demand that this guy represent us properly or get out. If he can't do the job, he doesn't deserve it. And I'll tell you something. He's up for election in another year. Let's not forget that. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, I, for one, have already called. And,
Thank you.
Of course, they wanted my name and address, and I told them they could probably just get it from the NSA would be quicker.
Yeah, all you got to do is give them a zip code. That's all they're interested in.
I told them I was from West Plains. And I'd also like to put another challenge out there to your listeners. You do this tirelessly. It's your birthday. What a shame you have to be upset like this on your birthday. I, for one, am going to drop by a check for $51, the same age you are today, and I challenge every listener to do the same so that you can continue with what you do for us while we often sit by and idly listen. And anyway, happy birthday anyway.
Thank you so much. And you know what? You just made my day. Just for your creativity. Thank you so much.
It's like, take a few moments and make known that we know what's going on.
Well, that's our job, right? I mean, if we're not letting them know that we're watching them, then they're like, okay, well, nobody's paying attention anyway, so I can do almost anything.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
God
Bye.
bless you. That was a nice call. So, I mean, here, I just think it's important that we make sure that we put this on notice, this administration, his administration, on notice. We're not going to tolerate it. We want open transparency. We want clear glass. There's no paint here. None will be accepted. None will be tolerated. There'll be no party politics. And if you're going to play that game, November's coming around the corner. And I'm going to tell you, you've got an opportunity here to test the waters on this guy, because I'm telling you, once an incumbent, it's almost impossible to get him out. That's why Congress is full of so much garbage, because you can't get an incumbent out. If there's ever a chance to get an incumbent out, it's in this first run. And he's only serving a partial term, remember, right? So here's the deal, folks. Let's make it very abundantly clear that unless this guy is going to toe the line and treat us like his employers and the bosses that we are, we're going to find another employee who will do the job better. I don't like being treated like the redheaded stepchild who just peed on the carpet. Not by my employee, not by the guy who's supposed to represent me. I don't like it one bit. And I'll tell you something. This Blueways thing affected not just our political future. It affected our farms, our homes, our life savings, the places we grew up in, the places where our kids are growing up in, and the places where their kids will grow up in. So he's not just fooling around with something that's maybe, the derogation of this or that or the next thing. He's playing politics with our land, with our homes. And I'm pissed. And you should be too. Eddie Justice is not the right guy to go over there and testify on this project. I'll make no bones about it. I don't care whether or not I'm now on another enemy list. Dirk posted up on the Facebook page the other day, if you're not on an enemy list by now, shame on you. If you're not on a government watch list by now, you should be ashamed of yourself. I think I'm on more than one. But damn the torpedoes, full steam ahead. We're either going to take our nation back and be a no-fear network of human beings that say we are holding our government accountable, or we're going to cower in fear and collapse and be willing to accept whatever crumbs they feed us off their table. You're being unusually harsh. Why? Because this guy's feet are still damp. And if we don't get him on notice right now, we'll never be able to rein him in. He's like the rabid dog. Or not a rabid dog. I shouldn't say that because you can't correct a rabid dog. But he's like the puppy that does something wrong, that keeps biting you with those baby teeth. And if you don't correct him early on, he'll be a biter all his life. So, America, I don't even care if you're from a district. Call him up anyway. Tell them I'm not from your district, but I listen to America's Voice, and I want answers. How's that? 202-224-3121. I have that number memorized. I hope you do too. 202-224-3121. And that should be a number that is emblazoned on every one of our minds. You want to do something creative? Pick up, jump on the web or go to a local place and have some business cards printed up. Put that phone number on it, and then put a little note above it that says, call your employee and get a daily report, and then put that phone number on there. And then make sure that you put the name of your 2 senators and your House rep or for in your given area on that card, and then start handing them out. Call your employee today and get an update on what he's done with his responsibility, or hers, in the case of Claire. That's what this is about. That is part of eternal vigilance. Not the eternal vigilance that Eddie Justice threw out there in his tweet. Real eternal vigilance. Ask Jason Smith's office why he removed my Facebook question. Is that transparency, Jason? Or are you just going to fill the boots of Joanne the traitor, betrayer, Emerson, who took all of our donations, took all of our votes, took all of our hopes and dreams, and quashed them under lies, betrayal, and sneaky scheming and skullduggery? Are you Joanne with another name? I mean, I heard you at meeting after meeting after meeting promising to do the right thing. What you did today by removing that Facebook post, even though you didn't like it, that's not the right thing. I'm going to tell you something, folks. I post stories up on America's Voice Now. Do you know what happens when somebody gives a negative comment up there or leaves it on a YouTube video that I do? I leave it. I have never one time removed a comment. In fact, I've got comments on some of my stories on America's Voice Now, and you know what they say? You're going to probably remove this, but blah, 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 and whatever they say. And guess what? I never remove a comment. You know why? Well, first of all, it's not my job to censor people. Secondly, more often than not, they're inaccurate. In many cases, I reply and I correct their mistaken assumption. Or at least it serves as an opportunity for me to educate the next reader who reads that comment, listens to my reply, and says, yup, this guy does make sense. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, just a quick, Mike. I tell everyone I know that Jason Smith is just Joanne Emerson with a sex change. Only difference.
I'm glad you said it, because thank you very much for that.
Take that onus off you there, sir.
That's the second laugh I got so far this morning. All right, guys, we're going to wrap the show up. I want you to do me a favor and make sure that you're supporting our sponsors. Chantilly's Artisan Bakery at 2 Evans Arcade, 255-2253. The Battery Station down at 303 Washington Avenue at 257-7799. West Plains Pawn at 256-3000. They're on Highway 160 just past Walmart. They have a ton of firearms and accessories and all kinds of things for you. Ozark Mountain Self-Reliance at 870-492-4030. And they just built their brand new website. In fact, I just built their brand new website, and they put it up the other day. It's ozarksurvivalgear.com. Jump over there, take a look at their site, see what you think of it, buy a product or two, and support them. Our friends over at Pizza Hut on Porter Wagoner. Tuesday is family night, so if you weren't there last night, you missed a great opportunity. They can be found on Porter Wagoner Boulevard. Stone Construction, 2930116. Make sure you get a hold of Bill Stone for any kind of construction. And our friends over at Wits End Classic Barbershop, who sponsor our phone lines every day. Also, SpringCreekBeef.com, another website we built, and they offer 100% grain-fed beef. grass-fed beef, no grain. And also make sure that you get a hold of Greg McLaughlin over at blackopsschoolofcombat.com. That's blackopsschoolofcombat.com at 417-255-1612. You're listening to America's Voice. Find us every day on the web at americasvoicenow.org. You can find our Facebook page at facebook.com/America's Voice Now. Please hit the like button. And you can find this and every other show that we do at youtube.com/America's Voice Now. Have a great day.
The Battery Station in West Plains is your headquarters for